There's a certain kind of peace that only shows up when you're alone, and if you've felt it, you know exactly what I mean. Not boredom, not loneliness, just quiet. And for some people, that quiet isn't something they escape from, it's something they choose. Because staying at home isn't always about having nothing better to do. Sometimes it's about finally feeling like yourself. Sign 1. You feel mentally safer in your own space. It's not just about comfort, it's about control. When you're at home, you're not constantly adjusting your behavior. You're not reading the room, filtering your thoughts, or managing how you come across. Out there, even in small social situations, your brain is working in the background, tracking reactions, predicting responses, staying alert. At home, that system finally switches off. Psychologists sometimes connect this to something called cognitive load. The more social variables you have to manage, the more mentally draining it becomes. So if you find yourself preferring home, it's not laziness. It might just mean your brain is tired of performing. Sign 2. You don't associate solitude with loneliness. A lot of people confuse being alone with being lonely, but they're not the same thing. Loneliness feels like something is missing. Solitude, when it's chosen, feels complete. People who love staying at home usually have a different relationship with their own thoughts. They don't need constant noise to feel okay. In fact, too much stimulation can feel overwhelming. There's actually research suggesting that people who are more comfortable being alone tend to have higher levels of self-reflection. They process things internally instead of constantly seeking external input. So while others might feel the need to fill every moment, you're okay letting things be quiet. And that changes everything. Sign 3. Your energy drains faster in social environments. It's not that you don't like people. It's that people take energy. Even positive interactions require attention, emotional regulation, and engagement. And for some individuals, especially those with more introverted tendencies, that cost is higher. So after a while, even a good time starts to feel heavy. You notice it when you get home, that sudden relief, that moment where you can finally stop responding, stop reacting, stop being on. One of the lesser known aspects of this is something called social fatigue. It's not about disliking others. It's about your nervous system needing recovery. And for you, home is where that recovery happens. Sign 4. You value depth over stimulation. When you're always out, always surrounded by noise, it's easy to stay on the surface. Small talk, quick interactions, constant movement, but at home things slow down. You think more deeply. You notice things. You engage with ideas, not just distractions. People who prefer staying in often have a stronger pull toward meaningful experiences, even if those experiences are quiet. Reading something that shifts your perspective, watching something that actually makes you think, or just sitting with your own thoughts long enough to understand them. It's not about doing less. It's about doing things that feel more real. Sign 5. You've learned to enjoy your own company. This one's subtle, but it matters. A lot of people stay busy because being alone feels uncomfortable. It brings up thoughts they'd rather avoid. But when you genuinely enjoy staying at home, it usually means you've reached a point where your own presence doesn't feel like something to escape from. You can sit with yourself without needing constant distraction, and that's not as common as it sounds. There's a concept in psychology around self-concept clarity. Basically, how clearly you understand who you are. People who are more comfortable alone often have a stronger sense of this. They're not constantly looking outside for validation or direction. They already have a baseline, and home becomes the place where that clarity stays intact. Sign 6. You're selective with your social energy. You're not avoiding people, you're choosing carefully, because over time you've probably noticed something. Not all interactions feel equal. Some leave you feeling lighter, others drain you for hours. So instead of spreading your energy everywhere, you conserve it. You say no more often, you stay in more often, not because you don't care, but because you've realized your energy has limits, and protecting it isn't selfish, it's necessary. Sign 7. You find comfort in routine and familiarity. There's something grounding about knowing your environment, your space, your setup, your rhythm. At home, things are predictable in a way that feels calming, not boring. You don't have to adapt constantly. You don't have to stay alert. Your brain can relax into patterns it understands. And in a world that's constantly changing, that kind of stability becomes valuable, almost like a reset button. So when someone says you stay home too much, they're usually looking at it from their perspective. From the outside, it might seem like you're missing out. But from the inside, it often feels like you're finally not overwhelmed. And there's a difference. Because for some people, staying at home isn't about hiding from life. It's about experiencing it in a way that actually feels manageable.